Georgia's got themselves a new outside linebackers coach. Let me tell you why he's the exact guy the program needed.
You are Locked On Bulldogs, your daily podcast on the Georgia Bulldogs. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
What is up, everybody? Welcome back to the Locked On Bulldogs podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Welcome to another week of Locked On Bulldogs. Today's episode brought to you by our friends over at Mazda. Move and be moved. More on Mazda in a moment. Clint will be joining us momentarily, but I just could not wait. I could not wait to hit the record button to jump on here. It's a Monday, and so we're back. We're talking Georgia football. We might talk some Georgia basketball at some point. Some of you are going to be upset by that, but I'm just here to tell you, you gotta embrace it. You gotta own it. But we're starting out the week with some news. Georgia has finally filled their outside linebackers coach position. Clint's here. He's not here. You just never know what he's going to do. Georgia's finally filled their outside linebackers coach position, and that's what we're talking about today, Clint. Welcome to the show.
It's great to be here, Daniel.
So happy to have you
happy
here.
To be here.
We're talking outside linebackers coach.
You'd love to
a
see
big hire for the University of Georgia, and I teased it in the opener, Clint, but we're going to talk today about why this is the exact guy that the University of Georgia needed. Maybe not who you wanted. It's maybe not who you were expecting. But Larry Knight is the exact guy that the program needed. And once again, Kirby goes out and he addresses the obvious concerns on this football team. If there's one thing, Clint, I feel like, and I want to start here, if there's one thing I feel like Kirby Smart was accused of early in his career, it was being stubborn. It was getting that sort of, this is the way I'm going to do it, and I'm not going to, I'm not going to bend, and I'm not going to allow people criticize the offense, sometimes rightfully so, in the early years of the Georgia Kirby Smart tenure. Said Kirby was controlling the offensive play calling, wasn't letting things be opened up. He was too stubborn. He's too whatever. I will say this. Kirby Smart, let's think about this offseason.
Okay.
Kirby Smart sees an issue in offensive line play at Georgia.
What does he do?
What does he do? He says, hey, we're going to flip things around here. We're going to move some pieces. I'm not going to worry about hurting my friend's feelings. I'm going to put the best guy in position. We make a change. We move a guy from an off-the-field role into an on-the-field role, from an on-the-field role into an off-the-field role. Now, then you have a coach leave the program for the Dallas Cowboys, leave for the NFL. We talked about that. The NFL right now is a better product. It's not a better product, but it is a better job than college football right now. And so it shouldn't come as any surprise that somebody leaves, goes to the NFL. Well, when Kirby Smart goes to hire a replacement, he says, I could go hire one of my buddies. I could go hire somebody with SEC coaching experience. I could go hire all of these. I could go check any of these boxes. But I'll tell you what I'm going to do instead. There's a problem on this Georgia football team, and it's called rushing the passer. And I'm going to go out and I'm going to find the best coach in America at coaching that. And then I'm going to bring him onto the staff. That is what Georgia gets in Larry Knight. He was recently hired by West Virginia, even though he never coached there, but had a cup of coffee at West Virginia. Then another job opportunity came along, and when you have an opportunity to leave West Virginia, Clint, I don't know if you know this. I don't know if you know this.
Take it, whatever that opportunity is. You take it.
You take that opportunity. So that's what Larry Knight did. Most recently at Arkansas State, where he led and I don't want to overspeak here, a dominant pass rush at Arkansas State. 6th nationally in rushing the quarterback last year. He comes to Georgia to do one thing, and that is get the extremely talented edge players that Georgia currently has on this roster
extremely
into the midsection of the opposing quarterback. That's where they need to live. And that's what Larry Knight is brought in to do, Clint. I could not be more excited about this hire. We'll get to the specifics of why maybe in a moment, but curious your initial thoughts. Am I just blowing smoke? Are you as excited about this hire as I am?
I just want to tell you all right now, this is the new college football, okay? I was just speaking to somebody the other day about how you go about finding coaches and players in this freewheeling market that is overinflated. I don't have to tell you, fan, you know how absolutely overinflated this market is, where if you have it's reminiscent of MLB free agency. You're not paying for the guy's next 5 years. You're paying for his previous 5 years. That's all you're doing. So when Billy Bean and the Moneyball comes to mind, you're finding these pieces and you have to go find these things in the rough. You have to go searching and pull out somebody that specifically fits what you're trying to do and is good and is great and will become great, will do good things, but isn't the quote proven track record that you may have seen other times in other places. Let somebody else pay the check that you're creating right now. And this is what Kirby Smart is doing. Deribe goes to the Cowboys. I just want to tell you the track record of Deribe, who is now, again, being entrusted with linebackers for the Dallas Cowboys. One of the most poorly run organizations.
Valuable franchises in professional sports.
There you go. One of the most absolutely money-making machines. This is his. He played for the Saints, Colorado graduate assistant, Kansas, SMU, TCU, Georgia, Dallas Cowboys. You want to look at what Larry Knight's doing. Larry Knight's facing a similar trajectory where Kirby Smart, he has his ear to the ground. He has his hand on the tracks, and he's hearing and feeling the reverberations of college football. And he looked at Arkansas State, again, 30th nationally in tackles for a loss, one of the best pass rushing, one of the best defenses at getting to it. Again, lower ranks, it's fine. Todd Monken is now head coach of the Browns. Deribe is now you cannot just think, well, we have these guys that are slotting it. The metrics, the system has changed. How coaches get up to the NFL has changed, and you have to take a leap. You have to, quote, take a shot or a chance on a guy like Larry Knight. And here's what I know. I know product on field, the teams that he has coached have gotten incredibly better with his tutelage. Point one. Point two. Georgia needs a guy who is, as Kirby will say of players, hungry. So you're telling me that how Kirby gets guys into the system, players who are hungry and want to make some bread for themselves one day. He's looking at Larry Knight saying, well, Larry, I see what you've done so far. You want to come eat scraps off the floor with me and get into junkyard dogfight with somebody and try to go ahead and get yourself up to somewhere else? And it's a big leap from Arkansas State, West Virginia to Georgia. That's a move.
That's called a rise. We got a riser here. That's what we're dealing with.
It's because Kirby Smart is doing the same exact thing he's doing with players, with coaches. Again, Glenn Schumann, did he play anywhere in particular in defense in the SEC? Oh no, he didn't. Todd Monken, defunct coach that nobody wanted in the NFL. Sure, come eat. This reeks of perfect, ideal fit. You're not blowing smoke, Daniel. I am right there with you of excitement.
This is a great hire for Georgia. We're going to talk about specifics of what he does, maybe what some concerns are, and I'm going to try to tell you that those don't matter to me at all. Lots to talk about, but first these.
And these are, in fact, indeed workplace chaos, deadline stacking up, inbox overflowing, and all of Athens screaming at you to go ahead and make a hire that you want. Kirby said, no. I'm targeting exactly who I want, not who you want me to want. he's basically just taking Indeed's whole system and implementing it himself. Not just hoping for the right candidate stumbles across your post, but you go find them. In the minute I've been talking to you, companies like yours have made 27 hires on Indeed, according to Indeed data worldwide. If you're hiring, spend less time searching and more time getting candidates who check all the boxes. Spend less time searching with Indeed sponsors job. Go to Indeed.com/podcast right now. Support our show by saying you heard about Indeed on this podcast. Indeed.com/podcast. Terms and conditions apply for $75 sponsored job credit to help you get premium status that you deserve. Need to hire? This is a job for Indeed sponsored jobs.
My favorite dispute of why Larry Knight is not a good fit for the Georgia program is, and I quote from Georgia Fan.
Here we go.
I've never heard of this guy. Like that's your rationale for not believing that he is the right choice for the job. Who's this guy? Like, do you think you know who the guys are? That's what. Did you know Todd Monken? Were you clamoring for Todd Monken?
You weren't.
Were you clamoring for Deribe when we hired him? You were not. A guy from TCU. You don't know. That's the thing.
May I add some more to this?
Sure.
Were you all clamoring for Trey Scott?
Todd Hartley?
Todd Hartley. Were you all clamoring
for Todd Hartley?
The guy who spent a year as a graduate assistant at Georgia, then went to Marshall, and then was a special teams and tight end guy at Miami, and now is a two-time national champion. Trey Scott, who was at Arkansas Tech.
Yeah, not Arkansas State, not the Red Wolves, where we got Larry Knight from. No, Arkansas Tech.
I need somebody with SEC track record that knows Georgia. Trey Scott, Arkansas is where he was born and raised.
Yeah. It doesn't make any sense. What Georgia needed was a guy who could coach these young, talented pass rushers to get them home, to get them to the quarterback. This is an objection that's not even valid because, spoiler alert, he's going to recruit just fine.
Just fine.
He's going to recruit just fine. But listen to me and listen clearly. I don't care if he sucks at recruiting. I don't care at all if he's terrible at recruiting. I don't care.
Put a pin in it, but really quick. He was the recruiting coordinator for Georgia Tech that has a footprint in, the state of Georgia. Continue.
I don't care about his ability to recruit. Do you know what Georgia doesn't have a problem doing?
Go ahead.
Getting talented young men to come to campus. It's been that way for as long as any of us can remember. It is that way now more than it ever has been. The NIL era, we've talked about it, people having to pay 3 times what Georgia pays to get guys to come. The recruiting rankings speak for themselves. Kirby Smart's the most dominant recruiter in college football, period. He's been the most dominant recruiter in college football since about 2010, when he was recruiting all of Nick Saban's, when Nick Saban was riding his coattails in recruiting. So he is who he is. Georgia's not going to have any problem getting talent. Do you know what Georgia has had an exceeding problem doing? Is taking 5-star talent and getting them to the quarterback, getting them to actually produce the thing that they were brought on campus to produce. Like, I'm sorry, but even on the dominant Georgia defensive teams, a lot of the pass rush was coming from guys like Jalen Carter, coming from guys like Nakobe Dean, coming from guys like Channing Tindall, who had another gear coming off the edge. Georgia's had 5-star edge players year in and year out, and 4 and 5 star guys, and they have not produced a consistent pass rush in a half a decade at least. That's what Georgia needs.
Here's what's interesting. And just like fans of Georgia's offense, again, Mike Bobo can put up 52 points, but if he doesn't do it the way that you want him to do it, you will call for his head. I promise you would. Georgia's defense, Kirby Smart's system, how he wants to operate defense is not the put yourself in jeopardy. He does not want to do, again, listen to how he talks. He wins football games because he knows how to minimize mistakes and how to put pressure and chaos. That's why he calls it chaos. He does not call it blitz pass. It's why Georgia will need outside linebackers. And here's where Larry Knight, I think his best asset should come in. And if you look at the stops that he's made, by the way, he has had this ability to take lower level, lower talented guys. What you have to do there is you have to, again, minimize mistakes. You have to stay close in games, and you have to win without talent. Okay. So you have to teach fundamentals. Georgia's outside linebackers need to play run and set the edge and not play mistake, and then transition to pass rush, transition to pass moves, finesse moves on the outside, to dip and rip and to get across on the other side. May I point out, again, I'm not saying he would have had this. I'm not saying that he wouldn't. All I'm saying is that you get an outside linebacker who goes to Mizzou last year, and Damon Wilson has himself a season. How was Missouri's defense and team as a whole? Not great.
No.
Okay. Damon Wilson had an incredible season. I think he'll have another incredible season for Miami this coming year. Again, Carson Beck. There comes a point at which playing winning football means Larry Knight's biggest thing is take those talented guys who in high school just got to blaze up the side on a tackle, on a tight end, and get after it. We'll have to first play run, play fundamental. Don't let anybody inside spill it all the outside. Again, Chaz Chambliss. Now, here's the problem. We need guys that have Chaz Chambliss to begin with in the first 1.5 seconds of the play, and then have Jalen Carter on the rest of it. Transition out of that, and that's the development piece. That's the piece that we're going to have to do. And again, I would rather be last in the SEC in sacks and have an incredibly stout defense that keeps teams under 13, 14 points per game than anything else. I don't think we'll have to choose that going forward. I think this year with our talent, as well as the new coaching coming in, as well, I don't think we'll have to. But if you're going to put me my back to a wall and make me, I'll take the Georgia teams that have been best defense without being number one in sacks. And there's a reason for it. Larry Knight's going to transition and take that next step that we've been missing the last half decade or so, which I think he can do.
Yeah, and that's just the point. You don't have to choose those things. You can play great defense and still rush. Rushing the passer is not a liability to great defense. No. It is a fast track to great defense. Georgia's been doing it the hard way, to your point. Georgia's been playing great defense the hard way. Larry Knight comes in, and his job is to help Georgia do it the easier way. His job is to help Georgia get those negative yardage plays, which Georgia has lacked. His job is to help guys win one-on-ones, which Georgia has lacked the consistent ability to do. It's all about development. That's what this hire was about.
Do you feel good about yourself, Daniel? How good do you feel about yourself right now?
Listen, I'm just here to tell you, that's what Georgia needed, and that's what Georgia got. Like, it's just, it's not like I'm out here prognosticating some ridiculously difficult to discern information. It's right there in front of you. I just watch Georgia football games. I assume most of you do as well. And so you know that Georgia doesn't lack talent. What Georgia lacks is productivity from their talent.
Yes. And guess what? We didn't take a developmental guy above everything else. He was the recruiting coordinator at 3 of his stops. He knows how to do this.
Even if we did take a developmental guy, though, that's the point. It's
yes,
worth it. It's worth it. This is what we need. This is what the program lacks. right now. The players are there, and that's what I want to get to when we come back in the third segment. The players are there. This hire
here we go
is about 5 names. That's it. Like this hire was made for 5 names. And those are the names that I want us to get to, because those names will determine whether Clint continues to watch a dominant defense in college football moving forward or not. And we'll get to that right after these.
And these are, in fact, Mazda. Daniel, Mazda's fantastic, and you should love Mazda. We all love Mazda. It's the car that is exceptional, and it keeps moving the game forward. For those who know there's more to the score than what's on the screen, just like Larry Knight's going to continue to move the game forward because he cares about the details. He cares about the hand placement of the outside linebackers, of the edge, of these all-talented, big, fast, giant human beings that are getting chaos in the backfield. It's the grit. It's the I never quit. And Mazda puts the same passion into every model. Highlights make the reel. What it took to get there makes it count. There's more to a Mazda because there's more to you, but also Daniel, FanDuel is here. Look, I don't know how they got those skates to continue to stay on, and they're like they click like out. It's like spurs. It's the wildest thing in the entire world. But Winter Olympics, I'm here for every.
He learned on a pond behind his house. Clint. That's the thing. His dad went out on the ATV in the house. If you see a guy like that, go to FanDuel and you bet on him to win the gold. You bet on him to set Olympic records and then break his own Olympic records about 9 minutes later. That's what you do.
Looking at the board and thinking about which team can make a deep run. That's the perfect time to lock in, and that's exactly what's happening with Winter Olympics as well as NBA future bets. Visit FanDuel.com to get started. Use a profit boost, NBA future, and get entered to your chance to win the NBA Finals or Olympic gold. It's fantastic. Play your game with FanDuel, the official sports betting partner of the Olympics and NBA.
5 names, Clint. And I'll just jump right out and get in front of it.
Please.
2 of the names are not Gabe Harris and Quintavious Johnson. That's the thing about it, is these are going to be our 2 starting edge defenders, kind of coming into the season. And I think rightfully so. They had a nice end to the campaign, right? SEC championship game, especially, we saw some productivity out of them. Really came on towards the end of the year, began to win some one-on-one individual matchups. Still not the productivity we needed to see throughout the season, but we did see a little bit more. That's not the names. That's not the reason for this hire.
No.
Here are the names. Darren Ekenekbon. That's the first name. That's name number 1. Chase Linton. That's name number 2. Isaiah Gibson. That's name number 3. And then Pierre Dean and Kamari Brooks from the 2026 recruiting class coming onto campus. There's your 5 names. Those are 5 extremely talented football players, Clint. Like, so talented that any program in the country would give anything to have one of them on their roster. Georgia's got 5 of them on the roster, plus Gabe Harris coming back, plus Quintavious Johnson coming back. The cupboard, Clint, is full on the edge.
Overflowing.
The cupboard is as full as it's ever been. This Ekenekbon, Gibson, and Linton, that class of edge rushers is as good as Georgia has ever signed.
Ever. Again, go back and listen to what we talked about as well as everybody else when that class was signed. The number 1 thing they took away from it was, remember when Linton signed it, everybody's like, you don't need him. You already have obscenely incredible guys. Why are you adding one of the best pure pass rushers in that cycle to your class? Everybody talked about Georgia's absolute get. Again, much to the chagrin of some people that said we need a 5-star wide receiver. No, Kirby Smart loaded up, tripled up, quadrupled up, to your point, of names that everyone else was chasing and thought Georgia's hoarding these pass rush specialists off the edge.
Yeah, and I don't mean to get negative here, but if Georgia had kept its same defensive coaching staff, I don't think you could convince me that one of these guys was going to pop. I don't think you could convince me that one of these guys was going to make a leap, that one of these guys was going to live up to his potential, that we were going to actually see the productivity out of him. Because we just haven't. We just consistently haven't seen it in terms of these edge defenders who are able to win these one-on-one matchups. I mean, look across college football. It's how you win games. It's how Ohio State has won. It ain't quarterback play, friends, and it ain't wide receiver play either.
Nope.
That's not how Ohio State has won. Ohio State has won with edge pressure, edge rushers, guys that can beat a tackle one-on-one and disrupt a play before it has the chance to get started. Georgia's got the dudes. Georgia needs somebody who can take that talent and develop it, Clint. Like you said, put your hand here. Use this technique. This is the way that you come off the ball. This is the way that you engage a defender. Here's a swim. Here's a bull. Here's the dip. Like, these are the tools that you need in order to perfect your craft and continue to grow as a player. I'll get ahead of it.
Okay.
If at the end of the season, in 2026, I guess, it'll be 2027 by the end of the season. If at the end of the season, if Gabe Harris and Quintavious Johnson are our two best edge defenders, something has gone wrong.
If there are two best edge defenders, I'll tell you this right now. A Sugar Bowl loss for the third straight year is not going to be as bad as what the reality is facing us.
Something will have gone horribly wrong. Georgia should be better than this on the edge. And look around, like, there are not many positions you could say that about. Like, Georgia's doing pretty good at a lot of positions. But Georgia should be better than this on the edge, and that's what this hire is all about. I absolutely love it. Could not be more excited for it. He is Clint. I am Daniel. We'll be back all week talking about this Georgia football team, talking about the basketball team, if I can drag Clint into it, talking about all things related to Georgia, and we'll see you guys next time.
See ya.